This is NRG, the long-standing titans of North American Rocket League. Comprised of Garrett G, Justin, and Squishy, this team had one of the longest dominating runs ever seen in professional Rocket League history. From Season 2 all the way through RLCSX, as the team evolved through several roster changes, NRG placed in the top 4 in North America in every single season of the RLCS, and claimed 6 regional titles. Although they didn't claim a land victory until Season 8, they were always a threat to win it all. With a speedy and highly aggressive playstyle, almost nobody could match them when they were at their peak. Following a 4th place finish in the region in RLCS Season 9, the team controversially picked up Squishy in favor of Turbo, the 4-time world champion for RLCSX. In spite of the uncertainty, they didn't skip a beat. They went on to dominate the longest season of RLCS to date, placing in the top 2 in 9 of 13 tournaments and ultimately claiming victory in the North American Championship with a convincing finals win against Space Station Gaming. In the next season, NRG claimed 1st or 2nd place in over half of the tournaments that they played in, and continued success was all but guaranteed. Going into the Los Angeles Major, top 4 was a given, and many predicted NRG to take home the trophy, when they suddenly fell off of a cliff and were eliminated in groups, before the live crowd even got a chance to see the long-time crowd favorite team play in a live setting for the first time in over 2 years. Since that tough loss, NRG have struggled to get a top 4 finish in every tournament to date, often falling before the top 8. Why, after years of domination of professional Rocket League, have NRG suddenly fallen from a team that everybody was afraid of to a team anybody can beat? Did they become complacent and slow down their game, relying on their opponent's fear to keep the advantage? Or did NRG keep the same aggressive and risky playstyle while a critical mass of teams surpassed them in speed and mechanical ability? Did everybody just suddenly figure them out? To find the answers to these questions, we need to go back to when NRG reigned over the scene, look at their playstyle's evolution over time, and see the progression of what has led us to today.
Bounces into the corner! NRG still around! Justin is there for the shot! Justin! This is Rocket League!
No, not that far back. Season 8's good.
He's got past 2 players, looks for a bump. Garrett G clears line. Justin!
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to be using a new tool that I've created over the last few months called Playstyle Analysis Graphs. If you want an insight on how these work at a deeper level, click the link in the description to the Reddit thread. Looking back at Season 8, the season where NRG could finally call themselves world champions, the team played a very aggressive playstyle with Justin at the helm of the attack, while Garrett and Turbo played more of a midfield role and covered defense when they needed to. Their speed, mechanics, and coordination were simply unmatched. Moving on to Season 9, nearly the exact same playstyle was used, but with every player covering a little bit more on defense. Other teams in the region were starting to match them more, forcing them to move back in the field. That fact is bolstered by NRG's underperformance in the North American Finals, where they placed 4th in league play and were eliminated in the playoff semifinals by G2. Normally, it's harsh to call a semifinal finish an underperformance, but for NRG, any finish below top 2 was disappointing. It was enough of a catalyst for the team to drop the 4-time world champion in favor of the North American superstar Squishy Muffins. Squishy, being a world champion himself, filled the role of Turbo incredibly well, allowing Justin to become even more aggressive upfield. With this consistent and solid playstyle, NRG went on to run the show in North America once again, with only a couple of teams even standing a chance of winning a series against them. The only times NRG faltered were when Justin played too far back on defense for his comfort zone, or the team got consistently punished for overcommitting on offense. In this game of the RLCSX North American Finals versus Space Station Gaming, the effectiveness of NRG's aggressive playstyle is apparent. When NRG scored the first goal of the game, the attack on net lasted 20 seconds with 8 challenges on the ball and 4 attempts on the net before the defense succumbed. Space Station were completely boxed in and couldn't find a way out.
Justin trying to squeeze one into a real tight window, and Squishy's gonna come through as Space Station, they get caught in the unavoidable trap of you have to dribble it across the net, and there's only one angle you can take.
NRG's attacks had a foundation of multiple challenges, passes, and awkward touches in the opponent's defensive third in quick succession, waiting for a defensive mistake to open up the net. Their other reliable method of scoring was, of course, their famously speedy counterattacks, where somebody would mechanically outplay a lone defender, or they would pass to get the goal with a quick cherry-pick shot. In the RLCS 21 and 22 season, NRG kept the win train rolling, commanding the same effective playstyle. In this season, we do see a significant change in how NRG plays in the games that they lose. In every previous season, their losing chart looks very similar to their winning chart, mostly showing small changes in each player's position, with Justin noticeably moving further back on the field. In the 21 and 22 season, NRG was losing games when the team was playing a very congruent, anchor-based playstyle with virtually no offense. The only teams who could effectively dismantle NRG and cause them to play this way in the first half of the season were Envy, G2, and of course, Team BDS. Looking at Game 4 of NRG's series versus BDS in the Fall Major, we see a prime example of a team that can reliably shut down NRG's attacks before they become too threatening. When NRG are able to score in this game, it's off of two fast and difficult to read plays, but whenever they try to establish their normal pattern of pressure, BDS collects the ball and takes possession before the attack becomes sustained, leaving NRG scrambling back to defense. After a pattern of this happening, NRG overextend on their offense and get punished on easy counterattacks. As teams get closer to NRG's skill over time, this pattern gets more and more pronounced. When a team is able to break through NRG's rotation, they cause NRG to play on their heels, forcing them to play sloppy defense and leaving them without any good opportunities to apply consistent pressure and score. After the tough loss to BDS, NRG came back to North America and dominated the winter split, continuing with the same effective playstyle. The dynamic changed some in Regional 1, where Squishy took on more of an offensive role, but Justin and Garrett's roles remained mostly the same. They took first place in that regional and second in the following two. Then, something changed. With NRG continuing their years-long winning streak, they were projected as one of the favorites to win in Los Angeles.
Yeah, whoever's coming in with that momentum, I think will have the edge.
However, to the dismay of NRG fans across the world, NRG barely made it out of the group stage, and then in the first round of the lower bracket, their tournament lives ended with a tough 3-2 loss to the eventual runners-up, Team Queso.
If you would have told me that NRG don't even make it to Saturday of the Major, I would have told you you're absolutely wicked!
This is where we see that congruent, heavily anchor-based style really pop up. When NRG are losing, they aren't commanding any of their signature offense at all. Even when they won games in this tournament, they were playing more defensively than they have in the past, a sign that their aggressive playstyle had lost viability. All things considered, NRG did quite well at the World Championship in Fort Worth. While they played more defensively than in the past, they did manage to secure a finish in the quarterfinals in the most competitive tournament played to date. When they won, they were playing a well-spaced out game with their normal rotation. When they lost, they played that heavy anchor-based playstyle on their heels and forced to play defense for a majority of the game. After the short break between seasons, NRG came out with a nearly perfectly rounded playstyle with Justin slightly out front and Garrett slightly in the back. However, this new style didn't work out in their favor. While they were easily able to take down Rogue and the Knights, they were beaten by Dignitas, Furia, and Genji. In this chart, Garrett is shown as playing both the first and third man positions like in Spring Split 1 from the previous season, and that pattern can only be found for NRG when they underperform. They came out with a strong performance in the Fall Cup, utilizing Squishy as that anchor player while Garrett and Justin moved around the whole field, committing their energy slightly more to offense. It worked out well for them, taking wins against Optic and Genji and making it all the way to the semifinals before getting knocked out by the eventual first place version 1.
Keep it around the same in the version 1 active and the Fury. Who that is, but it has been twice they've credited it just a vital thing where those.
With a performance like this, NRG should have success by sticking with that style. Unfortunately, even though they did stick with it, they fell in groups again. That same style that won them a high placement did not work against G2, FaZe, or the Knights. In their winning chart, all three players are playing defensively, and their losing chart, they're all playing aggressively. Totally flipped from all the previous seasons. This is NRG versus FaZe in the Fall Invitational. This gameplay looks very familiar to what it did versus BDS nearly a year ago, where NRG's fiery attacks are stomped out before they can even start. After overcommitting on pushes, they're left in awkward positions and unable to defend the counterattacks from FaZe. After nearly 3 minutes of playing, NRG are finally able to break into a fast-paced offensive rotation, but any shot on net is easily swatted away until Mist intercepts a pass from Squishy and bats it to the other side of the field. Even NRG's quick counterattacks are handled well by FaZe's clutch defense, and NRG are unable to convert on those pushes the way that they used to. They finished the game with 1 goal, a kickoff goal. They lost the series 3-1. Given all of this information, it's safe to conclude that despite their best efforts, NRG's days as an aggressive super team are over. Their high-intensity pressure campaigns were unbeatable against most teams in the world for years, but we've seen a hard shift in the effectiveness of their long-time successful style. At this point in time, their losing charts show aggressiveness, and their winning charts show measured defensiveness. Where does NRG go from here? Assuming they plan on staying together, it's hard to say. They could attempt to close the gaps in their aggressive style and make sure that their rotations are clean enough to prevent open goal counterattacks, but a spread out offense with telegraphed infield passes will be easily broken through by a team with strong defense. They could lean into their current best playstyle where they're holding down defense and punishing mistakes where they can, but many top teams are good enough to break down such a reactive playstyle. As more teams catch up to and surpass the mechanical ability and speed of NRG, it'll be very difficult for them to compete at the top of the region through playstyle adjustments alone. The most important part, of course, is how well any given playstyle is executed. It'll take tightening up of their rotations, stronger management of the opponent's boost, more physical play, and a myriad of other things. It's a complex puzzle that needs to fit together just right in order to be one of the best in the world, and no team is staying up there for very long anymore. As a longtime NRG fan, I personally hope that they stick together and find a way to be competitive at the top again, but it will be a long, long climb back up.
We on the top and we ain't gonna fall. This an obsession, a habit you call. We hitting automatic, never stall. Only got one tactic, do it all. I'm from the bottom, I hate what I saw. I couldn't walk, so I learned how to crawl. They wanna talk when you're back to the